Welcome everybody to today's Top Rated Seller webinar. We are so glad you're here and I appreciate your time. Thanks so much. New slide. That's okay, guys. We got to figure out who's pushing what buttons. We'll be right there. All right, good job. Today's webinar, eBay stores, new or classic. Which one is best for your business? And today we have two fantastic presenters. First, we have Sally Milo of Milo Design, who is a website and eBay certified store designer. We also have Sharon Ware from Dandelion Consulting, and Sharon is an eBay certified business consultant and a certified store designer. Together they run Milo Ware, and I think that slide is next with their unique business logo for the two of them. Oops, next, first we got to go to housekeeping. That's all right, first we're going to housekeeping. That's okay. Sharon Ware has Dandelion Consulting. Sally Milo runs Milo Designs, and together they run Ware-Milo. And so we'll show you that a little bit later. So let's do some housekeeping. Of course, the first question everybody wants to know is it being recorded? And yes, it is being recorded. We will have the recording up, hopefully by tonight, definitely within 24 hours, at our new website, ecommerceweekly.com. We'll also have a link to the slides and a special bonus PDF that Sharon and Sally have put together just for our listeners. That will all be on ecommerceweekly.com. If you can't hear my lovely voice right now and you're on the phone, try hanging up and calling back in. Sometimes a different line will give you better audio. If you're on the computer and it's giving you trouble with audio, we suggest you go ahead and use the telephone number to call in. That might help. We always want to thank our sponsors, because without sponsors, we wouldn't have Top Rated Seller webinars. So be sure and say thanks to Stamps.com. With Stamps.com, you spend less time shipping and more time selling. And always you should be listening to eBay Radio, where you've got the griff, live every Tuesday and Thursday at ebayradio.com. Thank you, sponsors. We also want to make sure you know about our connectors. That would be me, Kat Simpson. You can find me at thatcat.com, and Karen Locker at solutionsforecommerce.com. And today, I'm turning it over to Sally Milo to teach you about eBay stores. Sally, are you ready?
I sure am.
Awesome.
Thank you, Kat, and hi to everybody, old friends, new friends I'll make, and fellow sellers. And of course, Eric from Stamps.com. Thanks for this opportunity. Anyway, today my business partner Sharon Ware and I will talk about eBay stores, the new modern design and the classic one. First, we'll talk about the new stores, and then Sharon will talk about the classic stores. We're going to talk about the features, how to determine which store layout you should use for your business. We're going to give you some ideas, and mostly we're going to give you some info to think about. In my section about the new stores, I will cover the new store features, editing your new store, some banner ideas, and some resources, and probably a bit more. And if you have any questions or comments during my section, just type your question into the little chat box and the moderator will interrupt me to ask the question. I don't mind getting interrupted, but we will have a Q&A at the end of everything. Okay, if you want to convert to a new store, a lot of the things say wait until it shows up and manage my store. But if you go to this URL at pages.ebay.com/storefronts/update, you can click on the preview store button to see what your new store will look like. And on that page, there will be a button. The bottom half will show, the bottom half of this slide shows basically how your store is going to look when you first preview it. But on that page there will be a button so you can publish your new store right then and there if you so choose, and instantly you can always back out of and revert back to your classic store. Okay, first I want to talk about some new store features. It has a more modern look, and even though I'll talk about comparisons in a moment, I think the new store default looks far, far better and more modern and up to date than the classic store that's unadorned. There are also bigger pictures in the gallery of listings in the new store. The custom header or banner is much more prominent than the standard banners are in the classic stores. Pardon me. There is a square logo area instead of the rectangle that was in the classic stores, and I have found this square logo area is more amenable to most logos. A lot of us have had to fiddle with our logos or have them really teeny to fit in the 310 by 90 pixel of the classic store default. There is a featured listing section at the near the top of your new store, and then there are 1,000 characters for your store description as opposed to 300 in the classic store default. Oh boy. Um, One thing I checked yesterday, all of those characters, even though the in the new store it starts out with about 10 or 12 words of your store description and then it says to click to read more, the source code is picking up your full description up to those 1,000 characters that you have. So that's real good for search engines. And then the new store is responsive, which means it resizes for various screens. And a little bit later, I have some screenshots to show you how that works. And then there's a light box picture with a summary of the listing. Again, I have a screenshot of that coming up. And then there's a very prominent follow button on the new store. The save link in the classic stores hasn't worked for a few months, but there is also that follow button on our profile pages, which are the new me pages. And then setting up the new store is pretty darn quick, and I'll be showing you how to do that in a moment. There are some comments Sharon and I received on a Facebook post about the new store. One person's, and I'll just read it to you even though you could read it yourself. I switched to new, love it. One, like it has bigger pictures and thumbnail. Yes, very glad switched. For people without an expensive, gorgeous custom store, I think cleaner look, header billboard, and a new store looks far, far better than old headers. Would love for new stores to get promotions boxes so we can have that feature, and SEO. Great questions. Thank you for asking. And then another person said, switch to new format. One, clean, uncluttered look. Two, bigger pictures help highlight my items. And three, billboard helps highlight my brand. And before we get into anything else, I found this new store yesterday. I've been looking all over at tons of different, and this I thought was a great example of a new store layout. One big reason is because they're using the neutral colors, the blue that is already on the page for links and the search button and such, and then the sepia and gray tones coordinate real nicely. Now, of course, the blues and gray tones aren't going to be appropriate for every business, but this one I thought they did a superb job in their banner and their logo. Okay, I mentioned that the store is responsive. What I've got here are two screenshots and one photo. The bigger one in the back, this is Karen's store, by the way, that shows my browser opened up fairly wide. And then the other screenshot, the narrower one, off center to the right, I minimized my browser to the narrowest width that showed the full banner. And then on my new Android phone is the photo at the bottom. That cut off about the right 100 pixels of the banner, but everything else squeezed down appropriately so that you can see that on your small cell phone. And of course, it looks better and bigger on a tablet than it does on a cell phone. But this responsiveness is nice for to be appropriate for whatever kind of device or monitor you're on. And then the new store light box is a really nice feature. When you go to a new store, you'll see a little circle with a plus sign near the bottom right of the photo. You can click on that and up will pop up that image on the left that shows a big picture plus the title, price, and so on, some basic info. And that I have a comparison to when you have an enlarged link on the classic store that just shows your photo a little bit smaller than the new store does. But that one also, you could click on the additional photos, but it doesn't give you any of the additional info about the title and price and such as the news stores do. So it's what do you care about? What's more important to your customers, do you think, to make a decision there on that light box or that enlarged photo? Okay, next I want to compare some of the features. If I would get rid of this little Windows dialog. Okay, the new store does not have custom store pages or promotion box, no links in the header and banner, and no visible secondary store categories. If you have secondary, second and third level store categories, you can click on a category, then that will take you to a page that shows all your subcategories under that heading category. But when somebody first goes to your store, they're only going to see those top level categories. In the webinar that eBay did months ago to talk about new stores, they did say that eventually there will be custom store pages in the new store, and that there will be a link. You can have a link in your banner. I have no idea when those features will come, but they did say those will be coming. So another thing that isn't obvious right off the bat when you go to a news store, if you're looking for your RSS feed, which is fairly obvious on the classic store, Manage My Store, I have at the bottom left of that graphic, you'll see where I have listing distribution. That's on the main page of your Manage My Store page for the new store layout. And you can click on that. It's towards the right middle of the page. So you can go click on the listing distribution, which then will connect you to the info about your RSS feeds. Okay, a little bit about editing the new store. When you click to edit your new store, which you will see when you go to your own store, if you're logged in, right above the banner image, you'll see a pale yellow bar, and over to the right, there will be a link that says Manage My Store. Just click on that, and you'll get to this window that I'm showing right now. You'll enter your store name. You'll upload your billboard image, which the default is 1200 by 270 pixels. If it's smaller than that, say for example you have an 800 wide by 270 pixel graphic for your banner, there will be white space left over to the sides, but you can go up to that size. And then you add your logo, and then you could add your description, and that's where you have up to 1,000 characters to write your store business description. And then you can select featured listing. You can let eBay automatically select your featured listings, or you can choose those you wish to feature, which I would probably choose my own and rotate them depending on what I want to get rid of, what I think people really want, so on. Um, a note here, if you have fewer than 30 listings, I don't believe that the featured listings will show. Right now in this store that I've got for this example, I only have about 10 listings, so my featured listings aren't showing on the new store. And then, just like in the old store, the classic store, you can set the order of how you want your listings to appear, time ending soonest, newly listed, highest price, and so on. And then you can select whether you want the layout to be the gallery, which is the like boxes of your listings, or the lines, so that it comes in a list view. Okay, now some banner ideas for you. You can use banner ideas for general info to have a bigger logo than that little square logo with perhaps your slogan. You can mention a sale if you've got a sale going on. Mention that in your banner, and any other message, a happy holidays message, or even if you're going on vacation, you might have your logo up there with the vacation message. And be aware as you do this that you will have a little cutout section towards the bottom left that your logo is going to cover. I'm wondering, does anybody have any other banner ideas that they'd like to share with all of us? I'll wait just a moment to see if anybody types in any ideas that they think would make for a good new store banner.
One of the questions that came in, Sally, is can you have clickable links in your billboard?
Not yet.
Okay.
In that webinar I mentioned, they said eventually, but not at this point.
Yeah, because it is just an image, so it would be hard to have a clickable link.
Right.
Do you suggest changing it by season of promotion?
The banner,
Yeah.
I think I would, if just to have, even if you keep the same banner, just to have a little section, like if we were going to use that top one sample here for Quilter's Corner, I might use that section off to the right to have a little starburst or square or something, some graphic that I can just easily change out in my banner image file to mention, the special sale going on or the holiday or vacation or whatever it is.
Okay.
But
That sounds cool. Now, the only thing with that is and I know Sharon will get into the classic stores, but the classic stores, your promotion boxes are searchable, right? But if you put it on the banner, it's an image, so it's not a searchable.
correct.
Do I have that right? Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Um, okay, and one of the other questions is when you were doing the vintage photo store, one of the questions was when he looks at the page with all of the blues, the links are lost. Would it not be better to contrast the blues from the blues already on the page? Right now, they're not truly links, though.
Well, up at the top, those aren't links in this header or in this
Right.
banner. Um, I like the for this one,
Cohesiveness?
I like, yeah, it's the colors are consistent on this whole page. The blue is the same tone of blue as all those links. Um, I have seen a few new stores where the colors are very glaring and kind of don't match with the gray and blue tones of the rest of the page. But that's a personal preference. I'm just picky that way.
So then, for an example, because you just flipped through mine, so if it was holiday time, I could take that far right, the corner above my little square logo and put like holiday gifts or packages just to give it a little
Oh, absolutely.
holiday look to it.
Yeah, or even there under your name and your little line about collectibles, challenge coins, and vintage finds, you've got some space in there. But
Okay.
everybody always be aware how your logo is going to cover. Now you can do some fancy stuff, and I've seen Scott Henshaw do some nice stuff where he makes the logo image, the top portion of it, coordinate with the background image so that you don't so it looks like one full banner all the way across with a slight outline of the logo area. But that I thought was a nice technique.
Yeah, so you can find people that can do whatever you want with these images and play around. The nice thing is you can play around with it because it is so easy to switch out. It's not like a whole new
Oh,
design.
it's so easy. You just go to manage my store to click edit and you just upload a new banner image.
Okay. Now here I have, because I know you said you wanted questions as we go along, I have some long questions coming in. So let's see. So Patty Neff said they switched to the new format in May and they love it. However, when we discovered that our square logo was distorted on our listing page, they were finally able to fix it by changing the store name, which of course broke all the links and bookmarks. The problem they still have is the square logo is distorted with the rectangular aspect on their newsletters, email signatures, etc. So it sounds like eBay moved to the square logo for the store design, but it's still the rectangular logo every place else?
I'm not certain of that. I'm
Okay.
afraid I don't know.
All right. We'll have to.
Can I interject here?
You can. I was going to ask you.
Yes. Yes, they still, for the invoices and for the, if you use a listing frame, the logo with the 310 by 90 is still used in that. And they still use, for the invoicing, they still use what I call the small logo, which is the 310 by 90. So you
Sharon,
can, yes.
one of our attendees just had the same issue and got instructions from eBay. I thought it was generous of her to share, and I wanted to make sure that the listeners heard it too. She
Okay.
says, David at eBay gave me the steps yesterday. Revert to the old store design by going to your own store homepage and clicking revert to my old store. Once you're in reverse, you're reverted, go to my eBay, manage my store, display settings. Click change next to basic information and upload a new square logo. They display it at 150 by 150, but recommend you upload a 300 by 300 image because that shows up best when shoppers share your store to their Facebook feeds. Then you click Save Settings. Now go back and upgrade to the new store design by going there and following the steps. Now your logo should appear in both your store and in your item pages. Thank you, Misha.
Wow. See,
And
there's
I
always
copied that whole
updates.
thing and we'll put it on the Facebook page group
You're so
things.
good. Thank you.
Hey,
That's good to know.
Yes.
Thanks.
I don't want to repeat it again. Okay, and then this is still back with the questions with Patty. So hopefully maybe that whole suggestion will help with those rectangular slash squares. Then the other thing she was saying is the other problem she's had 0 store searches or views shown in Omniture since this change. We assume that may be because of the new URL. If that's the case, how do we fix this so our store landing page views show up in Omniture? They've had 0 since they changed, which now makes me wonder I should go look at mine and see if I have any.
Boy, that's another thing I don't know, and I'm hoping somebody in the audience does. Out of
Well,
100
I'm going to go
people,
peek at my Omniture right now because I've had the new
Well,
store for how long, Sally? A year, maybe?
oh, months, yeah.
I don't know if it's related. I understand that it seems to have happened when you switched over to the new store, but I will tell you that in my experience with my clients, whether they have the new store or the old store has not affected it. They're not working, period.
Yeah.
So
Omniture is not always the. But I'll
that's
go take,
just,
while we're talking, I'll go take a peek at my Omniture report and see if I have store pages. And
Okay.
I
that,
would
I think, is the
recommend.
questions up until this point, and I will let you get back to you.
Awesome. One other thing, those of
Go
you who
ahead,
are
Pat.
having trouble with your store reports, there is an inexpensive app called Kai Analytics from Kiwi Apps. I don't know if it's one of their 99-cent apps. I think it is. But it does a really good job of helping you get some analytics for your store. So if the ones from Omniture from eBay are not working, think about trying that. And I no affiliate here. I just think it's a really good app. It's called Kai Analytics. You can find it in the eBay app page.
Okay, I will carry on then. Okay, another thing for your banner is to use your banner or something similar to your banner with the same elements for your profile page cover for the consistency of your branding. They are the same size, but you'll notice in the samples I have here, I have 2 different ones with the same basic elements, but because the logo covers that little portion at the bottom left of the banner, and then on the profile page, you see that whole middle section is covered. So you, depending on the layout of your banner, you may be able to get away with using it for your profile cover page. So that's something just for the consistency to use. Now, resources for all of these graphics, particularly the banner, canva.com, I am very impressed with. They have all kinds of backgrounds and various images, a nice search function if you want to look up autumn leaves, for example. You could put that in the search for the various backgrounds or particular graphics. Most or a good portion of their stuff is free. I haven't found any piece that's more than $1. So something, if you get a background image and maybe some little starburst to go over here to the right and something else, you might be paying $3. So $0 to $3, maybe a couple more if you're really picky and want all kinds of doodads. But Canva is very user friendly. Fiverr.com is another place where you can hire people to do stuff starting at $5. And yes, you will find some decent artists who can create a banner design for you for $5 or 10 or 20. iStockPhotos.com is another great resource. There you'll be paying anywhere from $1.50 to $75, $80 for an image. And something to note on iStock, if you're a cheapskate like I am, over on the left hand side of the iStock photo page, you can scroll down to the price and then drag the little slider so you just have the single dollar sign, and you will just get images that are 1 credit, which their subscriptions are about $1.50 per credit. And then odesk.com, I know Kat has used Odesk to hire people, and I have myself have even offered my services on Odesk. So you can find somebody who can design this 1200 by 270 banner for you. You just tell them what you want and take it from there. And of course, look on eBay. There are a lot of designers who will list their services on eBay. So, custom banner design might be one phrase you'll do a search for. And then social media, ask questions of people you know on Facebook, for example. Facebook has several eBay related groups, some really good informative groups that you can ask for, where did you get this done, or who did you hire to do your design? And back to eBay. eBay does have discussion boards too that you can ask on those boards. Those were recently reconfigured and condensed, but there are still a lot of good eBay discussion boards where you can ask for input. One thing though, with any of these, if you hire somebody, if you particularly if you hire somebody, you don't have to worry about Canva and iStock. Those, if you're buying images or getting them for free, they're yours to use. But beware of the copyrights, for particularly if you hire someone or you do it yourself. First, ask yourself, is that creation your original idea or the original idea of the photographer or artist you hired for the work? Yes, if it's original, you can use it. Did you find it on a website and Google Images in a book or a magazine, or is it similar to somebody else's work? Then you cannot use it unless, and then I've got all those caveats. And by the way, we do have this on Ware-Milo.com/, oh boy, I don't remember the URL. I know I sent it. Oh, there it is. Eric posted it, the using pictures.png. So you cannot use those images that are mentioned on the right unless you get a permission from the copyright holder or you purchase it. If it's an article that you're putting on your blog about that piece, you can generally use photos of the piece because of fair use guidelines. but I would still ask the copyright holder's permission. For parodies, such as all those memes that go around Facebook and the internet, you can generally use the piece. Again, fair use, but it's always a good idea to get the copyright holder's permission. And then there are pieces that have what is called a Creative Commons license, but review that particular piece's license. Some of them may say, you can use it for personal use, but not for business use. And you can only use it for 6 months or something. So be aware of that. And then pieces in the public domain, like really old pieces, like Art Nouveau pieces, pictures painted by Alphonse Mucha back in the 1890s. If those were even copyrighted back then, the copyright has since expired. Those kind of things you can generally use, but always don't take my word for it. I'm not an attorney. This is just info I gathered. So always, cover your rear end, please, on that. And make sure you get permission where you can. So to summarize, who should use a new store? If you won't be customizing your classic store, certainly the new store looks far better, so use that. If you don't have or you don't want custom store pages, go ahead with the new store. It looks much nicer. And if you don't want or have promotion boxes, that's another reason to use a new store. I must admit I'm partial to the classic stores to customizing it because I have more fun designing a classic store, but I also appreciate the SEO opportunities, which Sharon will get into in a moment. But you can always revert back. You can go ahead and try out a new store, and if you want to, you can revert back to the classic store. So now I will turn over this presentation. This is the screen I was supposed to have in there earlier that Kat mentioned, to tell who Sharon and I are, and I'm going to change the presentation over to Sharon
And
so
while we're
she can
doing
carry on. Go
and while
ahead.
we're doing that, I'm going to interrupt for a second because there were two more questions. Can you
Okay.
use a PNG file for the logo with an invisible background?
I don't think so.
They,
I A PNG, there's a couple cases where I haven't been able to use a PNG. And in fact, when I was mentioning how Scott Henshaw would make the little square logo with the top portion to blend in with the background, I think that's probably why he does that as well, because the transparent pings will show up as white.
okay. And then the other question is, and it has to do with what you were talking about with copywriting. Somebody found a picture on Google Pictures, and there's no information on the owner of the picture. How do I get the permission for the owner's photos or the photo
Usually
owner?
go Google Images, you can usually click to go to the page that's on, and that should give you an idea, perhaps, unless somebody else has borrowed that image and put it on their own website without permission. It's really hard sometimes to track back who owns the copyrights. And I'd say be safe rather than sorry. And because somebody could, chances are they aren't going to find it, but that's theft. It's stealing somebody else's work. So if you find an image that you really really like and you can't get permission, find a designer who can do something similar, but not too similar, but have the same flavor of that image you really like.
And that's why purchasing photos is definitely safer as far as copyright because you're getting the permission when you buy it.
Sure, and of course, again, I'm not an attorney, so I'm just
Right.
talking from my own experience.
Well, and we do see lots of, I mean, how many posts have you seen in Facebook groups and forums, seller forums, that this person's using my image, this person's using, people get upset when people take their images and aren't, because they did the work themselves to make sure their picture is how they want it.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
okay, I'm done interrupting now.
So Sharon, to you.
All righty. Well, first of all, let me also say thanks, Kat, Karen, Eric, for the opportunity to be here today and help present. And Sally has done a great job with her part of the presentation. And let me just interject here that as far as I'm concerned, obviously, because we have partnered up here and been doing this for several years together, Sally is one of the best designers out there. So if you need a logo or anything designed, go to Sally. She's just marvelous, and she's easy to work with, and she always sends you the work, and she says, be nitpicky now. If there's anything you want changed, just let me know. She's very responsive, and she just whips out those logos and designs, to me, just fabulous, and that's why I love working with her. So after patting Sally on the back there, I'm going to go ahead and proceed with my part of the presentation, which is talking about the classic stores. Some of us say, you know, that we've got, it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks. And there's a lot of us probably in that same boat. And I know for one, I'm somewhat resistant to change. And as everybody knows, change pretty much is constant. So we have to stay in touch with what is up to date. And but then there's that part of us that wants to just hang on to the common thing that we know, the comfortable thing that we've done for years, and it works for us. So why change? So if that's you and you just love the store that you have, then this part of it is for you. With the Classic Store, we have the ability to fully customize the store homepage and other pages, including the header of the store page. We can customize the gallery of the listings in many different ways. And we can also customize the category navigation that you see there over on the left-hand side of your store homepage. With the customized store, right now, as they said, it's better for branding if you're interested in having a custom design made. One of the things that we like is because you can also include your navigation links inside the store header. So you're giving those buyers just an extra opportunity to visit the different pages in your store and giving them ease of navigation right there on your homepage. Again, right now, the new store does not allow for custom pages. So with the Classic Store, you get 15 custom pages. Those pages are perfect for search engine optimization. Those are, and we'll be talking about each one of these points here in depth after this overview slide. Also, the promotion boxes. And there's a lot of things that we can do with promotion boxes. We'll be talking about those. So all in all, there's more opportunity right now with the Classic Store for search engine optimization keywords. You can have better control over those keywords. So let's just look at a couple of the banners here on some custom store pages. Both of these pages, Sally has designed for our clients. And as you can see with the arrows here, we love to include different navigation links. Our favorites are the About Us, the Policies, Saving the Seller, which is saving as a favorite, and the Contact Us. One thing that we need to just talk about right now is the About Us page and why that link is so important. As many of you know, eBay just recently did away with the ability to edit your existing About Us page or to create any new About Us page. So one of the things that you can do with the Classic Store is you can create a custom page, label it About Us, link it in your store banner, and there you can provide the About Us information. If you have any information in an existing About Us page, you simply can copy that, and because it's no longer editable, you can go over and create a custom page, edit it however you want, and just simply disable the old About Me page. The store policies page, I'm a real fan and advocate of that. I like having all of my policies in one page, and then inside my listings, I say, please be sure and see all of our store policies here. You can then link to that one page. That way, if you ever need to update policies, you just have to update that one page and not hundreds or even thousands of listings. The Save the Seller is just one more opportunity to give them a reason or an easy way to go save you as a favorite. And to contact us, we always just have that link into the Ask the Seller a Question page, and it gives an easy place there as well. Again, as with Sally, if you have any questions and you want to just ask anything, feel free to ask away. Karen, do we have any questions so far?
We do, and I'm going to get to them right now. One of the first questions was, when will the classic design will the classic design be dropped completely?
You know, when we were at the eBay radio party, and Kat heard this as well, I'm sure probably everyone did, that we were supposed to be forced into the new store, and there have been a lot of advocates for keeping the classic store, at least keeping the choice for those who have custom designs and have spent hundreds or thousands of dollars to have their stores set up. We knew, because this is what Sally and I deal with all day long, is creating these stores, and those people who have paid a lot of money to have branding done, they were up in arms. We were up in arms about the possibility of all of that just going away. So luckily, because we had some ambassadors that went to war with and took our petitions to eBay, they listened, as eBay does many times. And so they have told us now that for right now, they're keeping the classic stores open, and they're giving us a choice, except for those people, as we mentioned, who are coming on that are new, who are opening up a store for the first time. And I don't believe that they're given the option. Does anyone know anything different than that?
No, I've always heard that the newest people that are opening stores don't have the option of changing.
Right. Right.
So,
Okay.
okay, next question. Which storefront would be better for someone who wants to do it one time and then leave it alone?
Well, I think either one would work for you. If you have a banner that you have designed or that you create yourself and you load it, it's not necessary that you change out your banners. I have proven that adding some interest to your banners for holidays and those occasions do draw more interest to your homepage, because once you have a following and you have people who have flagged you as a favorite and they come back time and time again, repeat buyers, they're interested to see, and they become your little tribe. And so they're like, oh, well, let's go see what's out there today. I have a client that I work with, and I change her banner at least every quarter, and then for special holidays. And she has an enormous following with lots of traffic, and we always keep her site fresh and interesting. The other thing, too, is when you change out your banner, you're changing out those links get refreshed, and it requires then for Google to re-index your page. And so if your page was falling in search, by putting something fresh and new in there, it will cause it to be re-indexed, which could make it appear higher in search. So either one, to answer the question, either one will work, just depending on which store works for you.
And speaking of storefronts and views and all of those things, I just wanted to let Patty know, I went back into my Omniture report, and it does not show a single storefront review view since December of 2013, so I would say that it's broken.
Wow, Karen.
Wow.
Sally had a couple comments about some of the buttons and how they used to work and how they changed. Sally, can you talk to us about what you were speaking
Yes,
of?
thanks. I just want to mention that the About Me links, or the About Me link you used to have, so if you have an old header on your store that had a link to your About Me page, that is now going to take you to your profile page. I have not been able to find a way to retrieve the old About Me pages, so you'd have to pretty much recreate it from scratch. Hopefully you have saved your file on your computer. And then the other thing, the Save Seller button or Save Seller link, that for the last few months has been going just to the newsletter sign up page. I reported that, but it doesn't seem to make a difference. And I cannot yet find a way to create a link for that follow button. That's something I'm working on. So I just wanted to mention those two, the About Me and the Save Seller.
Okay. Is that all the questions, Karen?
I'm looking. So then the next question is, with the additional 700 characters on the new store, you could cover your About Us, right?
Sure. You could put anything in there that you want. That area for the store description, because it's searched and indexed, in my opinion, I would fill it full of search engine keywords. That could be things that you sell, brands and that kind of thing. I would start out perhaps with that, and you could also put in a little bit about yourself if you want to include that. You do not want to put in any phone numbers, though, or email addresses on that page.
Yeah.
Okay?
Still have to avoid all of those taboos.
That's right. So with our classic store, not only can you customize the header area, the banner, you can customize the whole page. You can basically have a web page that matches your e-commerce site right here on eBay. This is a client that we did exactly that for. And you'll notice this is fully customized, and Sally did a beautiful job with this page. We've cut off the names of the clients because we did not get their permission to use that. So if anyone is interested in seeing some of this other work, just personal message us and we'll be glad to share that with you. So you can see over here also that we have custom little icon boxes here about the free shipping and the warranties, satisfaction, and so forth. We have a custom store search box there and custom categories on the left. Those are the eBay categories. We have just optimized them to match the whole look and design of the store. Classic store, you get 15 custom pages, and there'll be more. I'm just going to read this here, but we have some graphics here. We also have a link to a page that you can download that gives you more information. So some of the things that you can use a custom page for would be a sizing chart. If you sell clothing or anything that requires sizes, that would be perfect. Grading explanations. So some people sell books, and perhaps including a grading explanation, or even diamonds, anything that is graded, comic books, silver coins, that kind of thing, with all of your grading would be a perfect place to put that as a custom page, and then link in your listing. Put a link in there that says see complete full description of grading here, and that would link over to your custom page. You could put anything about your products, whether it's, why would I want to use your product, or more technical information, interesting tidbits, tips, anything about your products on like maybe a general line that you carry, a certain brand. You can, as we mentioned, create an About Us page as a custom page, and you can put pictures in there. You contact us. Perhaps if you have a brick and mortar store and you want to include pictures of your store hours, either brick and mortar, store hours on eBay, any of that is perfect for a custom page. Policy page, I already mentioned. I'm a huge fan of this policy page. The one thing that you want to be careful with doing is the links that you create within your listings. You want to make sure that you stay within the eBay's linking policy. They allow you to link in your listings to any page within eBay, within your store, or someone else's store with their permission, of course. You cannot link And any of these custom pages do not include links to any outside .coms that have a shopping cart or that would lead you to do a sale off of eBay. That would get you into a linking policy violation from eBay. So here are some just things that Sally put together, ideas for custom pages, which are great. These are custom things that she's done for our clients. And you can see you can put technical things there. You can include videos. Videos are huge. And having a custom page with video how-tos, how to make something, how to do something, how to repair something. Any of those are perfect. Your grading for your diamonds or your jewels. Just all of these, your sizing charts, the policies page, and so forth.
May I interject?
Please.
Okay, back a couple screens ago, you were talking about the various custom pages. But one thing about having the links, your second to the last point, links on your listing, so like in your listing template, cross-linking on all your store pages, so in the store header, and then from your website to link back to eBay, your eBay pages, that cross-linking that traditionally has been known to be great for search engine optimization. So having all those cross links referring to your eBay pages is a really good idea. That's all I wanted to say.
Thanks, Sally. And that actually triggered something else here. For those of you who have some of those already in your listings, if you are considering going over to a new store, guess what? Those custom pages will no longer be available and the links will be broken. So when you convert over to the new store, then you would have to go in and modify all of those and take those links out. Is that correct, everybody?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And speaking of links, since we were just talking about that, Deborah's asking, I understand you can't link to offebay.com, but can you let buyers know you have another site?
Another eBay site? Yes, absolutely.
I'm not sure if she means another eBay site or another website. And I think you'd have to be careful with that.
Yes. If you are not allowed to link to any website. So the answer to that is no. You can go and just do on eBay, do a search for linking policy and read all of that there. Be sure to expand all those little points about what's allowed and what's not allowed. Read every single thing and open up the different trees there, expand them. So you can link within eBay. You can link to another eBay store, another eBay site, even if it's your own or someone else's with their permission. You can link to custom pages, about pages, if you still have them. You just cannot link to anything that has a shopping cart.
And you probably don't want to put in a listing or anything, visit my other store
No.
and just the name without a link either.
No, that's
It's
true.
not technically, but
everybody is savvy nowadays. Everybody knows what that means. And so I am all for doing things the right way and not ever having to worry about it. I like to sleep good at night, and I don't want to have to worry about policy violations and that. So we are big advocates of doing it the right way and not trying to skirt and work around eBay policies.
okay. And one more question.
Mm-hmm.
So I've heard that because of searching on mobile, you should have your listings very clean with no links, no videos. Keep it short and sweet. I know you and I have talked about this, Sharon.
We have, and as a matter of fact, I had a template in my own personal store, and I just had Karen go in and do some work for me and clean all of that up. Karen does a fabulous job. By the way, little plug there for you, Karen. So I had a template taken out of mine, but mine was heavy, heavy, heavy on HTML, and so I am prepping up for mobile, gearing up for mobile as well. As far as videos go and mobile, I'm not an expert on that. Does anybody have any expertise with videos and mobile?
Well, they won't show if they're, depending upon how they're loaded, because of Flash, stuff doesn't show a lot in iPhone products. I've never actually looked in a listing to see if a video shows up. That's a good question.
Mm-hmm. It is a good question. I do know that at the eBay radio party that people were really just saying how wonderful that videos are optimized for search engines and how they're really picking that up with the videos. And so they were really promoting putting videos in your listings. But we
Well,
really didn't address the fact of videos and mobile at the radio party,
well,
unless I just didn't hear it.
Char's checking hers now.
Okay, good.
You know,
May I?
I think if you're using if you're using YouTube and the link and it's embedded in YouTube, that should still, because it should be able to open up in YouTube, not Flash, but that's just me guessing.
Hmm.
So she's going to check and she'll let us know.
Okay, great.
Another question, we have two other questions. One person, Misha, is having a hard time getting links to manuals for appliances and stuff. She can't get links to PDFs to work. Any suggestions?
I would have to take a look at it on a one-on-one to be able
Okay.
to see what problems that she's having. I wouldn't even venture to say, without looking at it. If you would like to just personal message me on that, and you can even contact us through that Ware-Milo.com. There, we've got a Facebook page, and we've got our contact information there on the end of the slide. You'll see it again. Just
If
let
I
me know.
if I can mention about videos, YouTube videos, you have to use the old embed code.
Yes.
So that might be the problem of why that a video isn't showing for this person.
And it's
Right.
getting
They're
really
using
hard
the
to
new
find
code.
too. And
Yeah,
from what
you
I'm
can
hearing.
Google. You can usually Google like YouTube eBay old embed code. There are some fellow eBayers who have web information on the web about that.
Okay, so Shara said she's using the old embed code and it's not showing on her iPhone in the eBay app.
That's because it's a flash movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
So maybe if you went to the web page, I don't know, instead of the app. And then there's one more question, and this is from Debbie. If you have two eBay IDs, is it true you cannot promote one on the other ID?
Debbie, it's my understanding that you're allowed to link to any store or anybody else's site with their permission. So I see no reason, as long as it is within the eBay, of course, site. And as long as you don't try to do keyword spamming in a listing. For example, if you're selling a coat, then according to eBay, if you put anything other than a coat in that listing, that would trigger a search on a keyword. So if you would have, for example, see my, I'm so sorry here, see my boots and shoes and jewelry and oh, by the way, go look at my other site where I sell books and all of that, then that would be considered keyword spamming. But if you mention something like, see our sister eBay store here.
Did we lose you, Sharon?
Did you?
I hear her.
I think we lost her.
No, I have sound
No, I'm
just
here.
fine, Karen. It might be on your end. Go ahead,
You hear
Sharon.
me, right?
Yes, I hear you, Karen. Go
Okay,
ahead,
thank
Sharon.
you. Okay.
I lost
So
her.
it would be fine as far as I read the policies to say, see our sister store here, and put a link there. I would not mention what your other store sells, though, because that would be considered keyword spamming in a listing. Make sense?
Yes, makes good sense.
Okay.
Yeah, if I might interject, I just now pulled up the eBay linking policies. You can link, it is allowed to link to like warranty services, shipping and freight information, other eBay pages, eBay messages, to your other eBay items. It says links are allowed to your other eBay items. So that I just Googled eBay link policy and found the page.
Right. And if you want to say, go see my other items, say other items. One way around that is to create graphics that don't have any alternative code or
Mhm.
any embedded keywords there that are not what you're selling.
And I just want to give a shout out to one of our listeners, Wayne from Bets Resale, excuse me, BETTES resale.com. They have put a video on every single listing of the jeans they sell, and it shows people how they measure their jeans. And I just thought that was a genius use of video, and I wanted to give him a heads up and a call out there.
A genius use? That's good, Kat.
I
like
like that. Genius use of video.
Cat and her alliteration. And the other thing, and when you were talking back about listing templates and mobile and all of that stuff before we went off on video, is I noticed that you're doing a lot of new things with templates that are making them a little more streamlined for mobile. Do you want to talk about that for a minute?
Yes, we
Sharon?
are. We have been for about at least a year now. We have really pared down our templates, still keeping with the the design of the whole branding, but using a lot less HTML, a lot less of the bulky, banners and borders and all of that. We've moved our descriptions to the left side, where the very first thing that you see in the template is going to be the title, and then the description, putting links and other things and logos over to the right side. So we have optimized for mobile, and if you need to have that done, just let us know. We'll be glad to take a look and give you a proposal.
The basic way I describe it, that instead of a header in the listing templates, we've been doing more right-siders in the templates. So all the fancy stuff is over there. And the thing, this is sort of a compromise, so it still looks good on a monitor, but is very legible on a mobile device.
Yeah, I've seen some of the ones you guys have done lately, and they're definitely beautiful new listing templates.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome very much. See, you gave me a plug, I have to say. But I mean, I
Well,
did a lot of work with some of yours, and they're just absolutely beautiful.
thank you.
We have one more point from about back to video, and then we'll let you get back to where you were. If you embed a link to see your video on how to, aren't you concerned about them leaving your item?
The video appears right in the listing. It doesn't take them off site.
Okay. Unless, I guess, they do it full screen, and then it would be, it would block out everything else. But as Sally said, it plays right in the listing as far as I know.
Okay, and that's all the questions we have for now.
Okay. Well, let's move on here to promotion boxes, and I'm almost finished. But with promotion boxes, we can use those, of course, to promote. And things that you can promote are your sales that you create with your Markdown Manager, a newsletter where you can offer exclusive discounts to your subscribers, and newly listed. And so instead of calling your promotion box newly listed, why not call it something cute like look what's new, or ending soon? You might say hurry, ending soon. You've got a certain number of characters that you can use, though, and these two phrases do fit in there. Free shipping, make sure that if you offer free shipping and you're promoting that in a promotion box, that you do specify that that's for domestic only, unless of course you're just one of those that offer free shipping for overseas, and I really just don't know anybody that does that. But so domestic. Clearance items, the great thing about with clearance items, you can set up a separate category called clearance, and then when you run a sale through your Markdown Manager, all you have to do is just choose that category and apply it to everything in that category. And if you ever want to, you can take items that are slow movers and you can add that extra store category in bulk, and then it's very easy thing to do. You can upsell, like buy one get one, buy 4 get free shipping, buy 5 get 10% off, etc. And you can do that through the promotions manager. And I've talked with Kat that would be a whole webinar in itself in using the promotions manager, the Markdown Manager, and your newsletter. And when you use all 3 in connection with each other properly, you can really increase your traffic and increase your sales. Here are some graphics that Sally's put together for ideas for your promotion boxes. So you can have a graphic in there instead of just text. And again, if you need help in creating these graphics, as you can see, Sally's does a great job with this. Here's something that I have a client that uses, and I went out, this is not my client, but I went out and Sally mentioned this that she knew about. So you have an area under your banner. You can insert an image there that has a stationary, what we call a stationary URL. So if you are hosting your own images, then you have the ability where you can FTP or just save that image, and any new image that you create, you can go do File, Save As, and rename an image that you have. So you can create a seasonal banner, a promotional banner here. This box, we can call it a promotion box, but it is a custom box. So you can go out and from that canva.com, and you can pick up, the leaves over here on the side, like Sally was mentioning, the money back guarantee, the picture of the girl. So you can do this banner for just a few dollars from images with canva.com. And then when it comes time for the Christmas holidays, you can put some packages or some Christmas trees or whatever you want to put, something pretty holiday, and make a brand new banner. Simply save over the other banner. You never have to touch this once you've loaded it. So when a person comes in and sees it on your site, and they're going to refresh, they'll have a new page there, and the new image will come up. So as you change out your image over at that URL, keeping the URL stationary, then the new images will just show up as people visit your site. It's an awesome way, a very easy way to edit these promotion boxes instead of having to go into eBay, go into edit, and put in new URLs.
Yeah, if I might mention, in this case, this banner was something like, my website.com/banner.jpg, and that is added to the bottom of the HTML code for the custom store header in this particular case. You can also do a similar thing on your listing templates.
Yes, you could. And I have several clients that do that as well. They simply change out the image whenever they're running a particular sale, or they want to just promote anything about their store. Great way to do it. So as I'm wrapping up here, who should have the classic store layout? So if you want to build your brand and have it be consistent with your other brands that you have, like an e-commerce site, or you have other platforms that you sell on, you have got a blog perhaps, one thing that you should think about is when people visit all of these different areas that you do business, are they seeing the same brand? You need to have a consistent brand on all of your platforms. I, for one, I'm working on that. That's on my bucket to-do list at the very top. And this point hit me really hard. I heard it, I don't remember who I heard it from, but I heard it at the eBay radio party, and it was my one major takeaway from the party, that I have several different logos, several different names and that kind of thing out there, and I need to consolidate and build my brand consistently through all my sites. So with the classic store, if you use your promotion boxes, there's so many ways you can use them. You want to keep the classic store. If you love your existing store, you've spent money on getting it designed, or you just have spent a lot of time doing it yourself and you love it, keep it. There's nothing that is forcing us at this time to go to the new store. If you have lots of custom pages and links in your listings to those custom pages that would be broken if you went over to the new store, keep your classic store. And that wraps it up for me. Do I have any other questions on those last few slides?
Yes, you do. Number one is there a way to get more than 2 store categories? Because I want to put items in clearance, or I'll have to remove the size or type, because this person sells shoes.
Right. No, unfortunately, eBay only offers us the ability to map our items to 2 store categories.
And speaking of store categories, something I noticed with because I have the original store and this is my faux pas with my store, the categories are very clear and large on the new stores. So make sure you have stuff in your categories. I am lazy and I have like 200 items in my other category, which is just not good for shopping and browsing.
True.
So
I know, Karen, with the classic store, if you have no products in that category name does not appear in your left navigation on your storefront or in your listings if you have the listing frame enabled. Is that true with the new store as well?
let me go take a peek because I, of course, have my store open and I don't even know what other tabs I have open right now. Look at my store and I will tell you. Oh, I have something in all of them, so I don't know. I
Okay.
could go try and take something out.
Oh,
But
that's
yeah,
okay. Yeah,
but
just be aware of that may be the case. You can look at your store if you have a new store and make sure that that's good.
exactly. And yeah, and to give you, like I said, the categories are very big and very clear on the left-hand navigation. And to give you an example, I only sell one type of product in my store, and that's the challenge coins. There's 110 in that, and there's 156 in the other category. So
Well,
people that are looking for my specific things are not going to look in the other.
Karen, do we need to help you with your store?
Karen's store is so the reason part of the problem, I'll be honest, part of the reason is because I use File Exchange to upload a lot of times, and I have not taken the time to figure out what the code is for the store or what
Mm-hmm.
category I need to figure out. But
Yeah.
I will say that eBay, just because I discovered this in this last week, is eBay has that new bulk create listings in their bulk editing create some similar area, and that works almost as quickly as File Exchange, and I'm not running into the issue of not being able to upload two images.
Is that one of the new features they talked
Yeah,
about
it
with?
is, and it's very nice. I can get a hold because my stuff is very similar.
Mhm.
I can upload this almost as fast as with File Exchange now, and I can get both pictures in there, so I don't have to re-edit what I've done.
Well, Karen, I think that would make a great separate seminar.
Yeah,
Oh
I
boy,
just
we're making a list here.
yeah, because I just started using it this week, and I've actually been able to get 40 listings up in a couple of hours this week, so that was
Awesome.
nice.
Awesome.
Okay.
And Misha says that the Levi's video shows up fine on her iPhone. It isn't quick, but it works. So they must have a different way of doing it than the YouTube embed. Awesome. She also had a couple questions. I don't know, kind of got lost in the thing. I guess she really liked the idea you were talking about having a clearance category, Sharon. But
Yes.
when you answered the question about only having two categories, she was kind of like, okay, that lets me out. So is there any way for her, other than as she put it, spending all day moving items around, to get items quickly into a clearance category since she already has them in two categories?
I would just recommend that you keep a main category and then for those items that need to be clearanced, that you simply move them in bulk over to your clearance category and leave them there. Um, you're leaving them there to get rid of them. So just make your main category, something that's intuitive that they would come to anyhow. And then you're just going to, because we only have two categories. So unfortunately, that's the only way that I know to do it. The other thing that you could possibly do is to create a promotion, use your markdown manager, create a sale, create a promotion in your promotions manager. You can choose those items individually, and then when you create that promotion, it will show up for all items in that particular that you've created. Now, the ease of having everything in a clearance category is because you just choose the category. If you do it the other way, it's going to be laborious for you, number one, because you have to list every item individually. And so if you don't choose a category,
Mm-hmm.
then you can put them in there individually. So if that's what you want to do and leave them in the other two categories that you already have them, that would be a workaround for you. It would take some time to set up, but
Mm-hmm.
once you set it up, then it would be there. And when they click on any of those items, it's going to advertise at the top with that promotions manager all the other items that are in clearance. So they could go and click on that, and then all your clearance items would show up on the screen. It's really great.
Awesome. And I know that Kathy Terrell had called into eBay Radio yesterday, and one of the suggestions she made was using this promotions manager when you're doing social media and pinning or whatever, because if you pin or post one of the items that's in your promotions and then that item ends or sells or you take it off your promotion, the link doesn't die. It just goes to all of your other promotions. So that's another. Correct. We've got to have that webinar about using the promotions managers. We'll get there. We'll get there.
we have a list and check it twice.
And you guys can vote. Just join the Top Rated Seller Facebook group and let us know what you want to hear next, because we want to give you the content that you need. Sharon and Sally, that was amazing. We knew when we asked you to do this subject that it was going to take some serious research on your parts, and we really appreciate the time. Is there anything that we didn't cover that you want to make sure gets out there to those contemplating, do I need a new store? Should I stay with the classic store? Any last words?
My only thing is, guys, if you need help, that's what we specialize in. We would love to talk to you. And we'll be glad to just go over things with you. There's no charge for the initial consultation. Please just give us a call or get in contact with us.
And
awesome.
I believe we're both on the Facebook group, so ask questions there. We're both on many of the Facebook groups, so ask questions. Karen and Kat mentioned right before the webinar started about their Facebook group. Tell me the name again.
Top Rated Seller Webinars.
Oh, is that where we're doing
the store reviews? Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize
you guys have been helping us with that.
You guys have been helping a lot.
I've been on there.
Yep.
Okay.
And Sally did both of my shows, so I can second Sharon's recommendation about design. She has a great eye for it, and if she can work with picky old me, she can work with anybody. Trust me. You're getting a lot of thank yous in the chat.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way. It's like, no, Sally, that needs to be 1/8 of an inch to the right, please. And she's like, no problem, done.
I know, and you're like, do you want to quit now or later? Yeah.
I just have one more quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
This is something that I was curious about, and I know that, some of the stuff. eBay has always been that it's based in Internet Explorer. Is it still the case that when you're doing any of this kind of custom store work and stuff that you need? Because I know, Kat, when I helped with you with moving your new templates in, I did it in Firefox or I did it in Chrome and they looked screwy.
Yep.
But if you do it in Internet Explorer, sometimes now it looks screwy on other ones. Is there a hard and fast rule yet of which browser?
No. Internet Explorer is the bane of web designers everywhere because things turn out different.
We lost Sally after bane of.
Firefox,
we lost me.
Firefox and Chrome tend to look the same, have the same results, which is why you need to also check in Internet Explorer.
And Homer says, what about Mac? So you want to check in Safari too. We're talking about design, Homer. Which browser tends to work best when you're working on your eBay store? And some people have reported to use IE.
Yeah, well, that's what eBay always says because they were based in IE. And I know that...
Yeah, I tend to load stores and everything through IE, and that's really all I use IE for. But I will check it in the other browsers as well.
Yeah, because what was it, Kat? There were huge spaces or something when this was a long time ago, but I didn't even think about it, and I was just playing around, and I was doing it in Chrome. And then she called me up and said, Karen, they're a mess. I'm like, what did I do?
What did
I just
you do?
copied and pasted what you gave me. And when I redid it all and I did it in IE, it looked fine. So.
Okay. Perfect. All right, guys. Make sure we have not scheduled our next webinar, but it will be in September. I know that much. It will be on a Wednesday at 10 o'clock at noon Central Time. So we will see you. Make sure you sign up for our newsletter and at ecommerceweekly.com. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.